The final gravity dial is hope of gain versus fear of loss. And this gravity dial is a little bit different, and let me explain. In the previous gravity dials, let's say confidence versus uncertainty, our goal is to make a customer feel 100% confident. And the way we do that is by using the green sheet to turn over the puzzle pieces so we understand the need. When we understand the need, we can present solutions that are on the money and can confirm that those solutions met the need. The objective of those gravity dials is to make sure a confidence is 100%. That means uncertainty is 0%. But in hope of gain and fear of loss, we call this gravity dial the urgency gravity dial. That it requires both hope of gain and fear of loss to create this urgency. What I mean by that is, let's take a telephone call, for example. One of the first things you will learn in incoming phone skills is how to handle availability. And this is a perfect example of hope of gain and fear of loss working together. That if you don't do it the correct way, that you won't be able to create urgency and you'll create total gain or total loss, and both of which are inefficient. Let me explain. A customer could say this: hey, I'm calling about that 2022 XYZ SUV. Is it still available? Now, if we answered, you may be thinking this. If you haven't taken any of our phone courses yet, you'll learn this in upcoming videos. But if I say, yes, that vehicle is available, I've just taken away any urgency. That means that yes, that vehicle is available. Now, usually what follows if that vehicle is available, there's no fear of loss. So you're going to get questions about price. Well, what's your best price? Well, if it's still sitting there, well, can you do better for me? And this is not an outcome that we want. On the flip side of the coin, if my customer asked if that vehicle's available, and let's say it was sold yesterday, and we answered the customer with something like this: no, it's not available anymore, that is total loss. And total loss is usually the end of the conversation. So what are we learning here? Urgency is extremely important. And if I just have total gain, yep, it's available, that doesn't work properly. And if I have fear of loss, with if it's total loss, no, it's not available, that does not work efficiently either. And how it works is I need a combination of hope of gain and fear of loss. So my answer to an availability question isn't yes, it isn't no, it's somewhere in the middle. Go something like this: hey, is that vehicle available? Well, yes, Mr. Jones, it is a very nice vehicle. And there have been some inquiries on it since we advertised it. I'm not 100% sure it's still available. And the last thing I'd ever want to do is waste your time. I just need to check with my manager and see what the status is on it. Okay, so that had a little bit of both, of hope of gain and fear of loss to create that urgency. Is it available? It's a nice vehicle. Oh my gosh, you love it. You'll love it. It's an amazing vehicle. Hope of gain. Fear of loss to create the urgency. I'm not 100% sure it's still available. In fact, there's been a few inquiries on it. I'm not 100% sure it's still available, but I'll check with my manager. The last thing I'd ever want to do is waste your time. So let me get that information and I'll get right back to you. You're calling from home, work, or your cell. So that is how gravity dial number 6, hope of gain and fear of loss, we call it the urgency dial, works. Is that you don't need 100% confidence. You need a little bit of hope of gain and a little bit of fear of loss to create that urgency to make somebody come down so that they can set a solid appointment so that you can help them buy a vehicle. And that is how gravity dial urgency works, with a little bit of hope of gain and a little bit of fear of loss. Too much gain is total gain. Yep, it's available. You're going to get questions on price. On the flip side, nope, it's not available. What do you do then? Well, you got to make sure that you let that customer know that it's a nice vehicle and you're not 100% sure it's still available, but you're going to check with your manager. And I'm not saying you ever lie to a customer to bring them down, but here's something that you need to know, and there'll be more about this in phone skills. Customers are searching up to 5 similar vehicles. So while you're checking to see if that vehicle is still available, even though you may know it is sold, you can ask your customer this: Mr. and Mrs. Jones, while I'm checking, do you specifically and only have to have that one vehicle that you called on? Or would you consider a similar vehicle? especially if the kilometers and model are perfect. And with the sale going on right now, we could really save you some money. And Mr. or Mrs. Jones says, you know what? I'm actually looking for XYZ SUVs between this price range and that price range. Well, aren't you glad you asked and didn't tell Mr. Jones that that one was sold when you've got 3 or 4 similar ones, especially 1 or 2 nicer? So it's time to start using our knowledge and turn it into skill and activate the gravity dial of urgency. It's simple, but you need a little bit of hope again and a little bit of fear of loss to get that urgency so that you can set solid appointments that'll show up at your dealership so you can help more people buy.